Hey guys, it's Dr. Casey and I'm back with the Ask the ND series on supplements. So I've already talked about a few of my favorites. Today I'm going to be focusing on fish oil. So fish oil I use primarily because it's super helpful for reducing inflammation. Chronic inflammation is one of the underlying issues behind most chronic diseases. So super important. You could see how it would potentially benefit a lot of different scenarios and conditions. In particular, it's also super helpful for a lot of cardiovascular issues or heart disease and things like that, elevated cholesterol, etc. But something that's important to know is that it does thin the blood a little bit, which is very useful for a lot of cardiovascular issues. But if someone's already on a blood thinner, you want to be careful about overdoing it. So in that case, you'd want to watch out for things like easy bruising or bleeding. But in general, it's super duper helpful for getting inflammation down. So some things you want to think about with sourcing fish oil or taking fish oil is, of course, again, quality. You're going to hear me mention this a lot. Quality is really important, particularly for oils, because you don't want to be taking rancid oils. So with fish oil, some things to think about are looking for companies that source their fish from cold water, low polluted areas, and are testing the oils afterwards for heavy metals and toxins. In terms of the types of fish they're sourcing from, you'd want to look at small fish, so things like sardines and anchovies. Those fish are going to be less likely to have a lot of heavy metals in them as opposed to larger fish, like you may have heard about high levels of mercury in fish like tuna or swordfish. So it's called bioaccumulation, when you have the large fish eat the small fish, and eventually the levels of things like heavy metals build over time into the larger fish. So something to think about. So you want them to be testing the oil, you want them to be sourcing it from quality small fish, and you also want to trust kind of your own judgment. So when you're looking at the oil, does it look cloudy? Does it look clear? How does it smell? This is a really big piece. So if an oil smells really weird or funky, it's probably rancid and you don't probably want to be taking it. Same with the taste. It shouldn't have overly strong taste. So again, if you're burping it up a lot and it's got a really funky taste or smell, it's probably rancid. Trust your gut and go ahead and find one that's a little bit better. So look for a reputable company, high quality stuff. And something else to think about too. So I mentioned how this is really helpful for inflammation. The reason for that is that fish oil is high in omega-3 fatty acids. The particular ones that we want to look for are called EPA and DHA. You don't need to know what these stand for. They're long chemical names, but just know that those are really important and they're essential because your body doesn't necessarily produce them. It needs to get them mostly from the diet. So a lot of folks I know will take things like flaxseed oil in the hopes of getting the same benefit in terms of getting inflammation down through the omega-3 fats. Unfortunately, the body has a pretty difficult time converting things like flaxseed oil into EPA and DHA. So while I love flax seeds for a lot of other things, if you're looking to particularly get inflammation down through an oil, I would say you go ahead and focus on something like a fish oil or even cod liver oil. Personally, I'm a big fan of cod liver oil because it's a little bit more like a whole food, and it also includes vitamins D and A. So if you remember back from one of my other videos of vitamin D, I mentioned how difficult it is to get through the diet. This is one of the few things you can take that actually has a little bit of vitamin D in it. So hopefully that helps. Let me know what other questions you have. #AskTheND, and we'll keep this train rolling.